This is Chris Gravy with Untitled Capital. Today we'll be covering the fourth installment of our 10-part series on Regulation A. Last time we discussed the various costs associated with conducting a Reg A raise. Today we'll discuss the SEC process and the timeline for a Reg A offering. So let's think hypothetically for a second. You've decided you want to raise capital for your business, but don't want to jump through all the many regulatory hoops as a public offering, and want your offering to be available to both accredited and non-accredited investors. You've stumbled upon a Reg A and you've decided you want to utilize the exemption. Now you ask the question every entrepreneur and business owner asks: what do you need to do? How long will it take? And how much will it cost? Last episode, we covered the costs associated with Reg A, and if you'd like a refresher, you can refer back to episode 3 of the series. So what to do next, and how long will it take? It generally takes 3 to 4 months from the time an issuer decides to launch a Reg A to the point where securities may first be sold. It can sometimes take longer if the SEC delays the process. In order to gauge investor interest in your raise, the SEC allows for a period before filing your Form 1A, the primary offering document, in which all communications with qualified institutional buyers, institutional accredited investors, and non-accredited investors are exempt from restrictions imposed by Section 5 of the Securities Act, in a period known as testing the waters. This period is optional and is not included in a time frame stated above, but it allows prospective issuers the opportunity to determine how successful a Reg A offering is likely to be. If an issuer decides to proceed, they will need to retain an attorney and accountants to begin the process of preparing to file the Form 1A with the SEC. They should also retain a registered broker-dealer who is licensed in every state where the issuer wishes to sell securities. The process of preparing the filing and obtaining audited financial statements generally takes about a month. When a Form 1A is complete, the issuer submits it and begins the SEC review process. It typically takes the SEC about a month to review the offering material and then respond. It's important to note the SEC will not formally approve your raise, they will only qualify it, essentially affirming that everything has been submitted appropriately, that there is nothing fraudulent, misleading, or illegitimate about your raise, and that it's okay for the public to see your deal on the market. The qualification period is the longest period of a Reg A timeline. Once the SEC has completed its initial review, there are normally one or more rounds of communications between the issuer and the SEC before the SEC ultimately qualifies the raise. This back and forth can last anywhere from 1 to 2 months, or possibly even longer. Now, the SEC will continue asking questions until it's satisfied, and it is worth noting that some offerings ultimately fail to be approved. If an issuer undertakes testing the waters activity, they will typically launch a marketing campaign during that period with support from industry professionals. As mentioned in the previous episode, marketing can be a costly step in the Reg A process, in some cases costing hundreds of thousands of dollars. Marketing efforts will normally evolve and continue throughout the Reg A process. Fortunately, eToro has capabilities which emulate marketing services and can be more effective and result in significant savings for the issuers. More on eToro's marketing strategies will be covered in episode 8 of this series, so just hold on tight. Once the raise has been qualified by the SEC and the public has been made aware of your raise, it's time to go live and begin selling. Issuers can raise a maximum of $50 million under Reg A Plus during a 12-month period. A Reg A Plus campaign could theoretically be continued and reinstituted beyond that point, but in order to do so, the issuer must begin the SEC qualification process all over again. When the offering has been completed, the issuer will be responsible, with certain limited exceptions, for filing annually and semi-annual reports with the SEC on a going forward basis. This is a responsibility regardless of whether the issuer continues to raise capital under the exemption. Bottom line, Reg A offerings can be a great way to raise capital from retail investors, but are also the most costly and time-consuming form of exempt capital raises. As such, they need to be planned and managed correctly in order to optimize the chances of success in light of the capital required. Although most of the steps we've discussed today are necessary parts of a Reg A process, it is advisable for all issuers making use of the exemption to engage service providers with subject matter experts in this space in order to streamline the process as much as possible and saving both time and money. For more information, head on over to eToro.com.